Good morning, ladies in green. Good morning, guests. Ladies in green, before I ask the procession to come, please make sure that your cell phones are away. Remember the out-of-sight policy. This is a formal assembly, and we expect impeccable behavior for this. Please can I ask you to stand for the procession? All right. Sorry about this. You could please take a seat for me. So I was told that I need to tell jokes for the next 7 minutes. No, I'm not going to do. The procession is not 100% ready yet. So if you can just take a seat and enjoy the cool breeze. And then the next time you see me, we'll be standing up and waiting for the procession. All right, it's me again. This time it's not a practice, it's for real. Please can I ask you to stand for the procession.
Thank you. You may be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of my favorite events on the school calendar because it reminds me of one of my favorite things about being in education, and that is the privilege of having to witness someone's journey in reaching their goals, in reaching their dreams. There is something truly special about watching somebody recognize a dream and then doubt that dream and then realize that they are more capable than they ever thought or could ever have imagined. To watch somebody through all the wins and the losses and the sweat and the tears and all the cheers. To sometimes witness someone stumble or even fall and get back up again. And then to watch that final push of determination and hard work until what once you thought was a far-fetched dream becomes a reality. While not all dreams can be measured in academic distinctions, today reminds us that if you have a goal and you keep your eyes fixed on that goal, that anything is possible. And the ladies, or the young women seated behind me today, are a true testament to that lesson. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to UNISI's Board Medal Assembly. I would like to welcome the following special guests. From Standard Bank, Mr. Houston de Vere, Mrs. Kafielwe Makoto, and Mr. John Leakus. Then from the University of the Free State, Professor Hester Klopper, Professor Hiva Rodney Gumede, and Mr. Reinhard Smith. Then I would also like to welcome our school's governing body, Mrs. Janine Safi Taropoulos and Dr. Victor Yazbek. They will be helping us hand out our medals this morning, as well as Mrs. Cindy Harris, Dr. Polly Orgy, and Mr. John Stevens. I would then also like to welcome our very proud parents of our 2025 board medalists, as well as our 2026 parents who have grade 8 parents of our 2026 class who have joined us this morning. I'd also like to extend a welcome to our grade 12 teachers of 2025 and, most importantly, to our top achievers of 2025, the reason why we are here today. And then finally, I'd like to welcome every single girl in green who is still on their journey to achieve their dreams and their goals. So welcome this morning. I would now like to ask our 2026 head girl, Kananelo Koarane, and our vice head girl, Shreya Nanku, to open with a scripture and prayer.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to open with a scripture from Job 22, verse 28. It reads, "You will succeed in whatever you choose to do, and light will shine on the road ahead of you." To the class of 2025, you ladies have bright futures ahead of you. Congratulations once again on your achievements.
If you are comfortable, please bow your heads in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you with grateful hearts, thanking you for your faithfulness in bringing the class of 2025 to this moment. Through every challenge and season of growth, you have guided, strengthened, and sustained them. As we honor excellence today, we recognize that every achievement is rooted in the gifts and opportunities you have given. We pray for their futures, that you would go before them, grant them wisdom, courage, and integrity, and lead them in paths of purpose. We also lift up the young ladies who will follow, asking that they be inspired to strive for excellence, uphold sisterhood, and believe in their potential. May your peace, protection, and grace rest upon us all. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Kananelo and Shreya, for that message and prayer. I would now like to call upon our principal, Mrs. Jackie Bortma, to address you.
A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and to all our girls in green. Before we turn our attention to our top achievers of 2025, allow me to acknowledge every single UNISI educator sitting behind me and sitting among you, who every day creates the physical environment that fosters respect and high expectations. maximizes potential, and inspires interest in a positive learning environment where our learners feel safe and cared for. Thank you very much to each and every one of you. Then to our 15 board medalists, ladies, you did the work. You did the work, you leaned into the challenges, and you have most certainly reaped the rewards. We are exceptionally proud of you. See on the board, we had, well, there's a beautiful photo of our 158 learners who made up the class of 2025. And as you can see, they collectively achieved 418 distinctions, which are 88 more distinctions than the previous year. I think they deserve a round of applause. Eunice achieved a 99.4% pass rate and a superb bachelor pass rate of 97.46%. We have 33 of our learners last year who achieved an A average, that's 80% and above. One learner who achieved 8 distinctions, and you'll have the opportunity to listen to her message in a short while. 6 of our learners achieved 7 distinctions, 8 of them achieved 6 distinctions, 16 achieved 5 distinctions, 20 of the learners achieved 4 distinctions, and 26 achieved 3 distinctions. Before we hand over to our board medalists, it gives me great pleasure to acknowledge each one of our grade 12 educators who worked exceptionally hard with the girls, and together they achieved these magnificent results. I'm going to ask Mrs. Harris, Mrs. Cindy Harris, principal of the primary school, to please assist me in handing over certificates to our educators. I'll be calling them up according to the subject they taught, and the subjects have been listed alphabetically. So first up, Mrs. Ariana Vessels, who taught accounting. Please join us, Mrs. Vessels. I'll be reading the number of learners each educator taught, the number of distinctions that the girls achieved, and then the average of the subject. Mrs. Vessels taught 32 of our grade 12 learners. They achieved 19 A symbols distinctions with an average of 81% for the subject. Mrs. Delport and Mrs. De Abreu were our Matric Afrikaans first additional language teachers. Mrs. Delport taught 63 of the 158 learners, and Mrs. De Abreu 95. 84 of our grade 12s achieved A's, distinctions, and the average for Afrikaans was 79%. Business Studies, Mrs. Erasmus. Mrs. Erasmus taught 59 grade 12s who achieved 15 distinctions with an average of 66% for the subject. And just allow me to add, and I think this is something we need to take note of, the average for business studies increased with 10% from the previous year. So congratulations, ma'am. The next subject is Computer Applications Technology. Mr. Terblanche, please join us. Mr. Terblanche taught 69 grade 12s. 10 of them achieved distinctions, and the average for CAT was 66%. Congratulations. Ms. Janse van Rensburg was and still is the Consumer Studies Teacher, she taught 52 of the grade 12s who achieved 8 distinctions, and the average for the subject was 67%. Dramatic Arts, Mr. Kriel, please join us. Mr. Kriel taught 31 grade 12s, 18 of whom achieved distinctions, and the average for dramatic arts was 81%. Allow me to add that dramatic arts average also increased with 10% from the previous year. Then I move on to English home language, and here's a prime example of teamwork. I'd like to call Mrs. Kutsia, Mrs. Grammatikos, Mrs. Serfontein, and Mrs. van der Merwe to the front. English home language, Mrs. Kutsia taught 33 of our learners, Mrs. Grammatikos 63, Mrs. Serfontein 28, and Mrs. van der Merwe taught 34 learners. Together, they achieved 46 distinctions for English home language with an average of 75%. German, Mrs. Grijvenstein, if you would join me. 7 of our grade 12s took German last year. You know, if you take German, you cross over to the school next door where Mrs. Grijvenstein teaches at grade college of 79%. Congratulations. History, Mrs. Malinga. Now you'll remember Mrs. Malinga joined us in June, and she transitioned beautifully in just taking over the grade 12 matric class of history learners who consisted of 33 girls. 7 of them achieved distinctions, and the average for history was 72%. Life orientation was taught by Mrs. Spulster and Mrs. Botha. Mrs. Spulstra taught 130 out of the 158 grade 12s, and Mrs. Botha 28. Together, they achieved 119 distinctions, and the average for LO was 84%. Well done. I would also like to recognize LO2. Our 3 counselors, Mrs. van Aswegen, Ms. Horn, and Mrs. Heman, if you would join me, who teach and guide 158 out of 158 of our learners in equipping them with such necessary life skills and the soft skills that are needed to achieve success in life overall. And, they also, if I couple it with LO, 119 distinctions, because without your support and guidance, I think the girls really excelled in LO, and average of 84%. Well done. Life Sciences, Mrs. Jansen van Vieren, Mrs. Jooste, and Mrs. Etzebeth, if you would join me. Mrs. Jansen van Vieren taught 28 of the grade 12s, Mrs. Etzebeth 57, Mrs. Jooste 25. They achieved 41 distinctions with an average of 72% for the subject. Mathematics, Mrs. Gospodinova and Mrs. Stein with the grade 12 mathematics teachers. Mrs. Gospodinova taught 51 learners, and Mrs. Stein, I beg your pardon, Mrs. Gospodinova 50, and Mrs. Stein taught 51. They achieved 11 distinctions with an average of 56% for the subject. Mathematical literacy, I'm so happy that Mrs. Opperman was able to join us this morning, and I think Mrs. Opperman was up before all of us this morning. She became Mrs. Opperman in September last year, and she is now a very happy boervrou. So it's lovely to have you with us. Mrs. Opperman taught 57 of our matrics who achieved 19 distinctions, and the average for mathematical literacy was 75%. Well done. Music, Mrs. Visser had one learner. One? It was Zinke. Right. She achieved an average, altogether they achieved an average of 81%. Well done. Physical sciences, Mrs. Minnar and Ms. Rautenbach, if you would join me. Mrs. Minnar taught 23 grade 12s and Ms. Rautenbach 50. Together they achieved 7 distinctions with an average of 59% for the subject. Well done. And last, but certainly not least, visual arts. Mrs. Gagiano, if you would join us. And before I read the accomplishments, I would firstly like to mention that one of Mrs. Gagiano's learners, Marga Wolfhard, achieved 100% in the National Senior Certificate exam for visual arts. Mrs. Gagiano taught 15 grade 12s, 8 of whom achieved distinctions, and the average for visual arts was 80%. Well done. Congratulations again, and thank you to our dedicated staff. I'd like to move on to our very special guests. It's your turn. But please allow me to create some context regarding our board medal. So therefore, for you to understand the context of the UNISI board medal, I need to tell you a bit of history. You know, that's my favorite. That's my favorite subject. So the UNISI board medal, and I'd like, ladies, especially you, to listen. The UNISI board medal was the brainchild of Mrs. Colleen Steenkamp, a governing body member who in 1982 urged the board to institute a special honor to recognize the contribution of senior full international Springboks such as Martie Peppler and Renee Ace, who were both tennis players. But in 1988, the board medal was extended to include girls who achieved 5 or more distinctions in the final matric examination. Being awarded a UNISI board medal is the highest accolade any UNISI lady can receive during her school career. It is therefore with immense pride that we announce that 15 of our exceptional school leavers have qualified for this prestigious award by achieving 5 distinctions or more in examinable subjects, excluding life orientation, in the National Senior Certificate examination. Ladies, today we present you with a symbol of academic excellence in recognition of your dedication, resilience, and perseverance in overcoming challenges to achieve the highest in academic standards. You represent the very essence of our school's mission, which is to produce outstanding school leavers who are innovative, analytical, articulate, balanced, and adaptable, with a lifelong love of learning. We look forward to listening to each of your inspirational messages this morning. I now call on Mrs. Erasmus, Mrs. Safi Tyropoulos, who is our chairperson of the UNICE governing body, and Dr. Victor Yazbek, who is our vice chairperson of the governing body, to assist in awarding our ladies their board medals. Thank you.
Our first board medalist for today is Abigail Strauss. Abigail achieved 6 distinctions, and she has an average of 83.63% with distinctions in, just give me a second, I don't want to say the numbers wrong. English home language, 82%, Afrikaans first additional language, 87%, mathematical literacy, 83%, German second additional language, 89%, history, 86%, visual arts, 91%. Abigail received a scholarship to study BA Communications Design at Vega in Pretoria. Congratulations.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to be here with you all today. I never thought I would say this, but I am eternally grateful for my journey here at UNICE. Looking back, I did not have the high school experience I thought I would. I was born in Switzerland and lived there for 10 years. From there, my family and I moved to America, and from there, South Africa. I first arrived at UNICE in grade 9, and in the process of moving, I completely skipped grade 8. So you can imagine how stressed I felt walking into grade 9, having subjects I never even heard of. When we are faced with challenges, we have 2 options. We can choose to let them make or break us. At the time, I used my circumstances as an excuse, and I managed to fully convince myself that excelling academically just wasn't possible for me after everything I went through. And to make matters even worse, my family moved to Pretoria, and I stayed behind here in Bloemfontein, finishing my matric year at UNICE. This was by far the most difficult year for me, and I cannot even describe how homesick I felt at times. And on top of that, I had to somehow deal with the fact that I had to finish matric and do well enough to apply to universities. However, I was soon struck with the reality that feeling sorry for myself would not get me anywhere. And no one else could do the work for me. No one else could decide my future. That responsibility was entirely mine, and it is yours too. I finally made the decision to stop letting my challenges break me. I started studying more than I ever have before. I pushed myself, even on days I felt completely exhausted, and I started going the extra mile. After that, I achieved better results than I ever had before, and that was when I realized that even the impossible was possible, and that I could academically succeed in matric. I continued to work hard and did well all the way through finals simply by changing my mindset. Ladies, your mind is the most powerful tool. You don't have to be smart or good at a subject. All it takes is hard work and a strong mentality. All of us have challenges we have to face, but it is up to you on how you will deal with it. Exams will pile up, and sometimes you will even write 2 on the same day. There will be days you feel completely overwhelmed and exhausted, but in each and every single one of those days, you have a choice. You have a choice to study instead of scrolling. You have a choice to do your best, and I can assure you that all of that effort is worth it in the end. Don't let your challenges break you. Choose to let them shape you. I will forever be grateful to my time here at UNISI because the challenges I faced here have made me the person I am today. With that being said, I want to leave you all with a question. What do you choose to do this year? Will you let your challenges make or break you? Finally, I want to say thank you to all of the teachers for their hard work and commitment. To my family and Marcus, who always kept me in their thoughts and prayers while I wrote exams. To my parents and my brother, you are such an inspiration to me, and I might be biased when I say this, but you are by far the best parents and brother in the world, and I could not have done this without you. I also want to say thank you to the Armour family that gave me a wonderful home to stay in while I finished matric. I cannot even express how much I appreciate everything they've done for me. Last, but certainly not least, I want to say thank you to God. He is the reason I am standing here today, and I owe all of this to him. Thank you.
Thank you, Abigail. Our next recipient to receive a board medal is Lorna Ndlotieni. She achieved an average of 83.88% with distinctions in English Home Language, 88%, Afrikaans First Additional Language, 85%, Business Studies, 90%, History, 91%, and Life Sciences, 88%. Lorna achieved an additional distinction in life orientation, and she will be studying a BCom degree at UP this year. Congratulations, Lorna.
So, you know how at AA meetings, well, I really hope you don't, but you know how they sit in a circle and one person will begin. And they'll say, hi, my name is, for example, Lorna. And everyone in the room, emphasis on everyone, will say, hi, Lorna. And then the person goes, and I'm an alcoholic. So today we're going to do that. Hi, my name is Lorna. Hi, Lorna. And I stand here as a representative and a grandchild. Umzukulwana yombanjo, ongebano vosontimela, ompethwa nongutu, obele, olanga, ondonda. And I am living in numerous answered prayers. Good morning, Mrs. Boardma, esteemed guests, educators, ladies in green, and my fellow board medalists. While preparing for today, I considered the different approaches I could take. And I realized, academically, I have nothing good to say, because quite frankly, it was hellish. But what I will do is I'll rank the grades from best to worst, and you'll do with that what you will. In fifth, we have grade 8. In fourth, we have grade 11. In third, we have grade 9. In second, we have matric. And in first place, we have grade 10. Grade 10s, I pray your experience is a lot better than mine was, truly. The approach I chose is one I'm already comfortable with, the role of older sister, despite the fact that my own sibling doesn't pay any mind to anything I say. Eva, please raise your hand so I can locate you. Okay, I didn't expect her to actually pick up her hand, so thank you. So ladies, welcome to things Lorna wished she had heard earlier on in high school. Number 1, there's 7, so 1 for every day of the week. Number 1, take that extra subject. Despite it being extra work, universities use your best 6 subjects. Thus, they disregard your lowest mark. For example, my school average is 83.38%, but in the eyes of universities, it's a whole 86.5 because they disregard the lowest mark. Number 2, I cannot stress the importance of figuring out what type of smart you are and taking subjects that align with that, especially if you don't need subjects that are going to put you through emotional turmoil. And if you're not going to adapt and take subjects that align with the type of smart you are, you need to be willing to put in 3 times the amount of work to ensure that you excel in a subject that doesn't come to you naturally. I'm a typical example of that. At the end of my grade 11 year, I dropped physics and I took business because I realized that I am not numbers smart. I'm naturally content driven. I'm better at content. And because physics wasn't producing the results that I had hoped it would. But business, as I stand here today, is one of my highest distinctions. So please, lean into your strengths especially if you don't need to go through that emotional turmoil. Number 3, I beg you, please, please, please do your homework. I know it's, even if you don't do it fully, sorry teachers, please do your homework. One of the hardest things about my matric year was having to relearn or rebuild the habit of doing homework because I just completely stopped in grade 9. Number 4, speak nothing but goodness over your life. Speak blessings, prosperity, abundance, life, your ambitions and your goals over yourself. Speak these things into existence for you. I ask that you be kind to yourself. Visualize the little girl you once were. Be kind to her. Number 5, I think. Adjacent to this, I implore you to write down everything. Not on your notes app. Sit down, get out a pen and a paper, be intentional, and write things down. I sat in this very hall in grade 9 when I got to UNISI for the first time and made a conscious decision that I would be a UNISI board medalist, a recipient of, as Mrs. Bortma has said, of the highest accolade a UNISI lady can receive in her UNISI school career. Now, I have to admit, I've written this speech 6 times in preparation for this very moment. I wrote a draft in grade 10, 2 in grade 11, 2 in matric, and 1 last final one as a member of UNISI's alumni. When you write things down, be it your goals, your to-do lists, or your New Year's resolutions, it stimulates action, and you are more likely to achieve or meet these objectives. This is backed up by Habakkuk 2, verse 2, which reads, "And the Lord answered me, write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads." Number 6, you need to be obsessed with success. You need to hunger to achieve what you've set out to. You need to be willing to sacrifice in order to reach your objectives, understanding that there is no growth in comfort zones, and that if nothing changes, nothing changes. Number 7, it is imperative that you sate your soul. Despite all the academic pressure, you need to pour into your own cup. Do things that make you happy. Do not lose yourself trying to make yourself proud. You owe it to yourself to be of sound mind while trying to achieve the things you aim to. Because there's going to be academic challenges, so many of them. So you need to be well mentally. Honorable mention. Now, I'd like to speak to the people who feel any type of inadequacy as they sit in this hall today. I've been where you are. I've walked these hallways and I've sat in these classrooms feeling simply mediocre because I was so accustomed to being first. And I've heard that this is actually a thing where, like, you come to UNISI and all of a sudden you're not where you were. So, yes. The mere idea of being so far from a position and academic standard that I had centered my value around crushed me time and time again. I didn't recognize myself or the marks that I was getting, or how the marks that I was getting didn't equate to a position in the hierarchy or academic hierarchy at UNISI for the longest time. I'd like to tell you that it gets better. You wake up in one day and you realize that your only obstacle is you. And as long as you do your utmost best, what happens, happens. And you realize that your value isn't in what position you hold, and your identity isn't your marks. You're so much bigger than that, more valuable than that. Do your best, and it'll work out as it's supposed to. Now, onto the hardest part, my thank yous. Timo stressed how it is imperative that I not cry, because I'm being filmed, so I'll try my hardest not to. I don't think I will, but yes. First, I'd like to thank my educators. Ladies, you truly are in amazing hands. Listen to your teachers. They truly do know what they're talking about. Realize that they too are human. I'll never forget the countless conversations I had with teachers towards the end of last year when they would tell us their experiences about what we were looking into, like the future and varsity and all that fun stuff. And you realize that they've gone through this. They're not some foreign beings. Like, they know what they're talking about. Heed their advice. To my friends, thank you for always being there, but namely Timo, Maureen, and Amo. Amo and I spent so much time together when we went together that when Amo and I spent so much time together that when we weren't together, teachers would ask where the other one was. She kept me sane most of the time because she reminded me that I truly was not alone. Every morning, we had a routine. During finals, she would come into my room and we'd take a rescue together and tell each other that we've got this. And for that, I love Amo. To Maureen, where is she? Who looks amazing in her matric uniform. Thank you for being the second little sister I never knew I needed. I love you so very much. I appreciate every sleepover, every conversation, every call, and every moment that we've shared. To Timo, who is here today, who woke. Thank you so much, Timo. Thank you for being my first day girlfriend. I've seen you. Timo has woken up at the crack of dawn, like 2 a.m., to make sure that I am able to go home. So thank you very much, Timo, for every tear we've shed, every night out, and for providing me with a family in a foreign place that is so far from home. I love you so very much, and I appreciate our friendship. On to my family, who are here today. To Malumewa, who has been nothing short of supportive and ever present. Enkosi for ubuko bakho, Malumi. I cannot express the amount of gratitude I have towards you for continually showing up, and ubakhona for umama as well, who has used you as a bouncing board. So I appreciate you for that. To umampelo makhulu wam, ndicela uthi enkosi. Enkosi makhulu, thank you for every single time you called to check up on me. For every time you said, God sees your hard work. Because in times that I thought I was going to cry. Because in times that I wanted to give up, it was those words that helped me carry on. Thank you for kasigoduka CM Tepele. Usihlalise ecangeni kwakho makhulu. Uthethe nathi ngoThixo. For your presence, thank you for your prayers over us because they keep us safe. Ndiyabonga mampele, ndiyabulela. And on to my mother, my heart in human form. I always say that we are products of our surroundings, of our environment, and I'm a direct output of mine. A loving, strong mother, a present mother. Thank you for every piece of advice you've given me, for every trip you've made. She once traveled to Bloemfontein for a singular night because I wanted to go to Grey Bull and did not want to sleep at hostel. For every prize giving you've attended, she's only missed 1 out of 12. Thank you for always answering your phone. Only the Lord knows how many times you've literally walked out of meetings because I called you crying at odd hours of the night, and I would call you and cry over mundane things. Thank you for going through the motions with me. This is as much my achievement as it is yours. Truly from the bottom of my heart, Ndiabulela. I recognize that as I stand here today, it is a consequence, a direct consequence of the sacrifice that the three of you have made, and for that I'll forever be grateful. Special shout out to my grade 9s, Rose, Babatang, Ritu, and my mentee, Asanda. And lastly, I'd like to thank God, because without the power of God behind everything that I do, I really am completely inadequate. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorna. Our next recipient is Kiara Subramanian, who achieved an average of 84.75% with distinctions in English Home Language, 91%, Afrikaans First Additional Language, 92%, Accounting, 83%, Computer Applications Technology, 89%, and Life Sciences, 89%. Kiara also achieved an additional distinction in life orientation, and she will be studying medicine at the University of the Free State. But wait, there's more. There's more. She will also be re-awarded a board medal because she was crowned the winner of the prestigious Matriculant of the Year 2025 competition, which is a national level competition, and we at UNISI are incredibly proud of her. Congratulations.
When I thought about this moment, I realized that success is a lot like a braai. Everyone knows the end result, but very few people actually see the prep that goes into making it work. So today, allow me to tell you how to have the perfect South African braai. Good morning, Mrs. Botma, members of the SGB, staff, proud parents, and my UNISI sisters. To my fellow board medalists, congratulations, guys. I hope you know how incredibly proud I am to stand among you today. Every good braai starts with one thing, the fire. Not the meat or the pap and chakalaka, the fire. So I'd like to start by thanking my fire, God, because without him, my dreams would have remained just that, dreams. Job 22, verse 28 reads, "You will succeed in whatever you choose to do, and light will shine on the road ahead of you." Throughout my matric year, this verse reminded me that even when I couldn't see the flames, I could trust that the fire would always be burning. To all my Unisi sisters, but specifically the matrics, there will be days when you wonder why the pre-primary girls get a nap time and you don't. But remember to show up every single day with commitment, even when your motivation is low. Let diligence and hard work become habits and not reactions to pressure. Protect your balance, because just like a braai, the best results take patience and careful attention. If you stay disciplined and dedicated, your effort will quietly shape your results that you never thought possible. We all know a braai must have that one overconfident dad who stands by the fire, refuses help from anyone, and insists that they know exactly what they're doing. Dad, thank you for teaching me the importance. Thank you for teaching me the importance of self-love, because there is absolutely no one on this earth who loves my dad more than he loves himself. Jokes aside, Dad, I stand here today because of your quiet sacrifices and the faith that you had in me. I believed I could achieve anything I set my mind to because you told me I could. I'll always remember what you told me before every single final exam. Even if things don't go right, go left. And then there's my mom, because let's be honest, guys, every successful braai is actually organized by a mom. She's the one who bought the meat, prepared the salads, and made sure everyone was fine before the fire was even lit. Mom, thank you for being the calm in my chaos, my reminder to breathe, I'm not going to cry, and my strength when I felt overwhelmed. Thank you for being the reason I knew I'd been okay, no matter how hot that fire got. Every braai also has to have that one person who stands too close to the fire, keeps asking when the food will be ready, and manages to steal a piece of meat without anyone noticing. To my sister, Kamia, thank you for always being my constant source of mischief, and the one who distracted me when I needed it most. You made even the most stressful days brighter, and your laughter and conversations always reminded me to never take life too seriously. I'm so eternally grateful for you, and I honestly couldn't have done it without you. And finally, no braai can run smoothly without the people who keep adjusting the coals, aka my matric teachers. Mrs. Grammaticos, thank you for teaching me gratitude. I wish you saw just how grateful I was when I realized that the speech doesn't count for marks. Mrs. De Abreu, thank you for teaching me how to be positive. I've honestly never seen anyone more excited than you to have a double Afrikaans last period on a Friday. Mrs. Vessels, thank you for teaching me practicality. Every time I see a KFC sign, I will always remember the secret ingredient that you wrote on my grade 10 accounting paper. Kiara, think streetwise. Ms. Rotenbach and Mrs. Stein, thank you for teaching me that maths and physics can be beautiful if I looked hard enough, even if it meant I had to turn the textbook upside down and squint extra hard to see it. And finally, Mrs. Euster, thank you for teaching me the structure of the ear. Thanks to you, I was finally able to figure out why my sister doesn't listen to me. To every single educator who stood around my fire, I thank you and I salute you. Unisi, thank you for teaching me that with patience, care, and dedication, the results will always be worth it, and that success isn't best served microwaved, it's bride.
Thank you, Kiara. Our next board medalist is Lana Jinkera. Lana achieved an average of 85.71% with distinctions in English Home Language, 85%, Afrikaans First Additional Language, 86%, Mathematical Literacy, 94%, Consumer Studies, 83%, Life Sciences, 88%. Lana achieved an additional distinction in life orientation, and she will be studying psychology and anthropology at the University of the Free State this year. Congratulations.
It was the day of 2024's Board Medal Assembly. Right after break, my friend group and I had cat with Mr. Tablanche. There we go. Okay. Those of you who have him as an educator will know that any of that day's previous occurrences will be discussed before we get into the lesson. He asked the class to raise hands if you thought you were going to be a board medalist the following year. My friends eagerly raised their hands and looked at me as if they were expecting me to raise mine too. Peer pressure was felt. Okay, I raised mine slowly, telling myself, okay, I will reach this goal. Let's make it a challenge. And ironically, cat is the only subject I didn't get a distinction for. Your matric year is the year you will never stop hearing the famous words, you need to work hard. True, but matric isn't just about working hard academically. It's about learning how to keep going when you're tired, to prove to yourself. It's the year where pressure sits on your shoulders like a heavy backpack. Sometimes you will barely notice it, and other times it will feel impossible to carry. But what no one really tells you is that you grow stronger with every step you take while carrying it. To the grade 12 sitting here today, my biggest piece of advice is don't measure your success only by marks. Marks matter, yes, but they do not define your worth, nor your intelligence. Join activities, because that's where you might meet your closest friends. You will have days where you study for hours and still fall short, like my CAT final exam, and other days where things just click. Both are part of the journey. Coming from a board medalist who once achieved 37% for Animal Farm in grade 9, a 58% for maths in grade 10, and another 51% again for maths in grade 11, not all hope is lost. Growth doesn't always come and doesn't always look like progress, but sometimes it looks like persistence. Proverbs 27 verse 17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Choose people who sharpen you, not drain you. The people around you are either the wind in your sails, or they will be the anchor holding you back. When you surround yourself with friends who believe in you, who push you to do better, and who remind you of your goals when you forget them, everything changes. Cherish the good friend who stops by your house just to say hello, and stay close to that other good friend who studies CAT with you until late at night. I want to end with a thank you. Thank you to the teachers who believed in us even when we didn't believe in ourselves. Thank you for your patience, your guidance, and your constant reminders that we are capable of more. And a big thanks to my register teacher, Mrs. van der Merwe, who always started the mornings with prayer and encouragement to get through the day, and her golden words to take it class for class if you have to. Thank you to my parents for driving me up and down in the most inconvenient times, and thank you to my best friend who could come today, who always provided me with motivation to work harder. And thank you to God for the strength, grace, and opportunities that carried me through this year. To the grade 12s, walk into this year with courage, work hard, trust the process, choose your people wisely, and never forget that your story is still being written. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Lana. Our next medalist is Kamogelo Bransel. Kamogelo achieved an average of 87.14% with distinctions in English home language, 83%, Afrikaans first additional language, 89%, mathematics, 82%, accounting, 98%, wow, life sciences, 90%. Kamogelo also achieved an additional distinction in life orientation, and she will be studying actuarial sciences at UCT this year.
Firstly, I'd like to say yay, but okay. Good morning, Mrs. Botma, special guests, staff members, parents, the matric class of 2026, the grade 8 of 2026, my fellow awards recipients, and of course, the beautiful ladies in green. I am more anxious than I expected, so please be patient with me. It truly is an honor to be a recipient of this award. I have been chasing this award for my entire high school journey. I mean, I spent the whole of my finals fake delivering what would be this exact speech as a way to keep myself motivated. And now that I'm actually here with the award over my neck and delivering these words, it still feels surreal. Time really waits for no one. One moment, it was the first day back, and I was in grade 9, filled with nerves and uncertainty. And the next thing, I'm standing here as a school leaver, and I am receiving an award. This past week has been a major adjustment. While it has been amazing not waking up early for school, it has been bittersweet. So much of what was once my routine is now a memory. Seeing my friends every day, worrying about upcoming events, after school activities, and of course, the daily tuck shop chocolate muffin. I would not be standing on the stage if it were not for my Heavenly Father. The strength, resilience, and ability I required throughout my high school journey were truly God-given, and I'm endlessly grateful for God's grace and His constant mercy over my life. It truly was not an easy road. Secondly, my family, most especially my parents and my older brother. They have been there since day one, not only for this exact goal, but since the very beginning. Since the day I cried before the first day of grade 1, because for some reason I was convinced I would already fail maths, to this exact moment where I'm receiving this award. Thank you for your constant support, your presence, and for never placing pressure on me, but constantly reminding me that you're proud of me and my efforts. To the educators, not only those whose classrooms I sat in, but all the educators at UNICE, thank you. The extra effort you put into your work does not go unnoticed. There's something truly special about teachers who love what they do, who care about their subjects and their students. And the results that we celebrate today are truly a reflection of their dedication, their commitment, and passion for teaching. So again, thank you. So now for the advice little part of my speech to the grade 8s of 2026, who now fill the space that my grade once occupied. I wish you all the best, and in this new space that you are in, I hope that you enjoy it. Make friends, sing your heart out, do any and every activity that you can find until you find yourself in this new space. To the class of 2026, take it in, and always remember that you're surrounded by people who are ready to support you. Enjoy this year to the fullest, and embrace the pressure, allow it to motivate you instead of overwhelm you. And always remember to respect the goals and dreams that you have set for yourself, because that is what you need to look ahead for. As I step off the stage and into a new chapter of my life, I do so with a heart full of gratitude and pride. Gratitude for the people, mostly my friends, who I've come across during my time at UNICE, and pride because I was truly part of something special. UNICE has shaped me in ways that extend beyond academics. It has shaped me in character, in faith, resilience, and purpose. The lessons I leave are not only from textbooks and classrooms, but lessons of perseverance, the golden word sisterhood, the courage to go outside my comfort zones, and believing in myself when the journey feels challenging. And no matter where life takes me, I will always cherish and carry my time at UNICE with me. So, thank you for being part of my story, for walking this journey alongside me and allowing me to be part of something special. Thank you. And as I'm about to take my seat, you know I have to. Good luck to Sue.
Thank you, Kamogelo. Our next board medalist is Yomari Visser. Yomari got an average of 87.57%, with distinctions in English Home Language, 89%, Afrikaans First Additional Language, 97%, Mathematics, 84%, accounting 90%, and life sciences 84%. Yomiri also receives an additional distinction in life orientation, and she will be studying medicine at the University of the Free State this year. Congratulations.
Good morning, Mrs. Botma, staff, special guests, and ladies in green. I tried to write a motivational speech, but I quickly realized I'm not a very motivational person. Therefore, I thought it best to rather share a verse which I read during my final exams that left me speechless. Proverbs 16:9 reads, "In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." I'm someone who loves planning ahead, and I remember feeling anxious in my matric year as the future was an uncertain time. Let me tell you, I was wandering somewhere. But no matter how much I planned, the Lord had already determined my steps, so the only way you can go is forward. To my matrics and my grade 11s, here's my 1-minute wisdom for you. Enjoy every moment and stop worrying about your future, because you're in quite an exciting time. Before you know it, it's gone. I remember hearing this and thinking, no ways, you're lying. But let me tell you, before I knew, it was my last match, my last tour, and my last class. We all know the saying, it takes a village to raise a child, so please allow me to thank my village. First of all, I wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for the Lord who has blessed me every single day. So thank you so much. Then, Mama en Papa, in die woorde van Herman Kleinhans, dankie vir al die duisende dinge. Vandag wil ek 'n glas op julle menswees klink. Vir elke keer se lief vir jou my kind. Ek weet julle het al nagte vir my omgelê en bid. Mama, thank you for every little coffee. Thank you for every bit of motivation. And thank you for all the tips for writing this speech. She told me to use all 12 tenses in one sentence. Maybe not. Papa was reg. Niks kom sonder moeite nie. ABC, apply but to chair. And last but not least. Jammer om te hoor as dit sleg gaan. To Andre and Madre, thank you for every prayer. Thank you for always being someone to look up to. And yes, thank you for making me look like the best sibling. Then to the staff, I would stand here all day thanking all of you, but a special mention, Ms. Rautenbach. You've been with me through every up and every down these past 4 years, and I'm eternally grateful. Mrs. Wessels, thank you for allowing me to say I do to accounting in grade 11, even though I missed the entire grade 10. But here I stand with my distinction, showing you anything is possible with a little bit of hard work. Think streetwise. Then Coach Nika, thank you for always motivating me, and Wennersven. Then to the masala sandwich, you guys were an unexpected friendship in my matric year, but may our terrible dance moves stay at Orgles forever. To our Indian remixes, terrible times. Bianca, we miss your little extra today, and Kiara, may we never learn about Mrs. Spouser again. To Skermi and John Michael, a lot of coffees, a lot of chats, and a lot of complaints, but here we are, we made it. To Christine, my Shaila, en Linka, enjoy every moment of your matric year, wees mal, gaan groot. And then, to my village, thank you for carrying me through every moment of this year, and thank you for always believing in me. I would not be here without you. To conclude, you'll never be in the same place at the same time with the same people ever again. So, take every opportunity the best way you can. Eunice, thank you for every opportunity you've given me. I'm so grateful. Eunice, I salute you. Now, ladies in green, quickly move around in your chair just to stay awake. Thank you. They say a good speech must always be moving.
Thank you, Yomiri. Our next board medalist is Ada Dennis. Ada achieved an average of 87.57% with distinctions in English Home Language, 85%, Afrikaans First Additional Language, 88%, Accounting, 89%, Businesses, 98%, and Life Sciences, 91%. Ada also achieved an additional distinction in life orientation, and she will be studying nursing at the University of Pretoria this year.
Good morning, everyone. Unlike majority of board medalists, I did not start dreaming of achieving a board medal in grade 8. I only realized this dream of mine in grade 10 after making it into the academic top 35 for the first time. On that day, I promised myself I would keep working hard so that I could receive a board medal. At the time, though, this seemed like an almost impossible goal. But term after term, my marks kept improving, and the idea of achieving a board medal no longer seemed so impossible. To be honest, throughout the whole of grade 11 and the first 2 terms of matric, I was extremely sure that I was going to get a board medal. That was until prelims came around. Prelims completely destroyed my confidence. I tried to ignore that feeling by telling myself that it would be okay and that finals would be better. Oh boy, was I wrong. Although some finals were easier, they made my expectations of receiving a board medal almost zero. Now, standing up here, I regret ever doubting myself because my hard work did pay off in the end. If there's one thing I did learn last year, it's that you shouldn't doubt yourself. If you do happen to fall down, always make an effort to stand up, because at least it shows you tried to change your situation and that you didn't just give up after failing. Grade 8s and 9s. Now is the time to figure out whether you are more of a visual learner, a note taker, a summary maker, or someone who learns best by talking. Developing good study habits now will prevent burnout in grade 11. Grade 10s and 11s, start looking at your subjects as potential career paths and stop looking at them as chores that you have to complete on a daily basis. If you love life science, go look at what jobs include life science. Don't think just because you're good at a subject that you have to have a career around that subject. Look for careers in subjects that you actually enjoy, even if you're not the best at them. Matrics. Your journey after high school does not have to be the same as the person sitting next to you. Whether you decide to go to university, take a gap year or 2, or start working straight away, the important thing is that you choose what fits with your goals and not someone else's goals. Lastly, I'd like to thank everyone who helped me make it through matric and made this achievement possible. Mrs. Wessels, 4 years ago, I didn't know the difference between an asset and a liability. But today, thanks to your dedication to accounting, I was able to achieve a distinction for accounting. Mrs. Erasmus, it's hard to believe that I've only known you since grade 11, because you have been one of my biggest supporters. Thank you for being someone I could talk to, not just about business, but also about life. And thanks to you and all your efforts in the 2 years you were my teacher, I was able to come first in business. Miss Sonicus, thank you for creating the FCL. You didn't just start a club, you created a sanctuary for curiosity. As the 2025 captain, I saw firsthand how much heart you pour into the club. Thank you for trusting me to lead, but more importantly, thank you for providing a place for us to celebrate diversity. Cheryl, thank you for being my right-hand woman and the vice captain of the FCL. Without you, I don't think I would have been able to be a good leader. You boosted my confidence when I didn't have any and helped balance out my ideas so that they actually made sense. Gabby and Puleng, the club is in good hands now. I've watched you both grow and I'm so proud to pass the torch on to you two, and I cannot wait to see where you guys take the club. Asange, Danny, Karen, and the rest of your friend group, thank you for taking me in when I had friendship troubles last year. You guys made a tough year so much easier and saved me from a lot of drama, and I'm extremely thankful to you guys for that. Kirsten, my best friend who is here today, thank you for helping me find my worth and always being there for me when I needed someone to vent to. I promised myself I wouldn't cry. Mommy, thank you for trusting me to set my own study schedules, even though you probably shouldn't have because I spent an unhealthy amount of time on my phone. I am very grateful that you pushed me to be more independent and learn how to do things on my own. Thank you for your words of encouragement during prelims and finals, as well as all the speckled eggs you left for me after almost every exam, even though they did make me gain a bit of weight. Opa, thanks for being awesome. Liam, thanks for being my brother, I guess. Although we debate a lot because of our differences in opinion, I'm still very grateful that you're my brother, and I love both you and Mommy very much. I'd like to end my speech by mentioning and paying special tribute to the 2 people who were not able to attend today. One of my closest friends, Gemma Deutschmann, who passed away in 2021, and my grandmother, who passed away about a month and a half ago. Gemma, you gave me the strength to keep pushing despite challenges and also became my inspiration for achieving all my goals in life. Oma, last year was really hard on you, but despite your battles, you still made an effort to continuously send me positive and loving messages all throughout finals. I will continue to keep those messages close to me and use them as motivation in the future when I face any hardships. Thank you.
Thank you, Ada. Let me just find my place. So our next board medalist is Hannah van Marle. Hannah achieved an average of 90.63% with distinctions in English Home Language, 91%, Afrikaans First Additional Language, 99%, Dramatic Arts, 95%, German Second Additional Language, 94%, and History, 96%. Hannah also achieved an additional distinction in life orientation, and she will be studying a Bachelor of Music at the University of Cape Town this year. Congratulations, Hannah.
If I'm being quite honest, I stressed more about the possibility of this speech than I did about my maths mark, and considering that paper, that's saying something. It's odd. I've been imagining this moment standing in front of all of you since grade 8, and here I am. 5 years, 500 kiloliters of blood, sweat, and tears, 3 vastly different haircuts, 2 tattoos, and 5 piercings later, and I have no clue where to begin. In grade 10 drama, we read a play called Every Man. In the play, the main character, Everyman, is called by death to go on a pilgrimage, at the end of which he would have to account for his life before God. Everyman immediately goes into a panic. He asks his friends and family whether they would accompany him on his journey, and they all say no. At the end, he turns to the one character he cherished most in his lifetime, Goods, and asks him for his company on this fateful pilgrimage. This character represents Everyman's material wealth, his things, perhaps his iPhone 16 Pro Max, his Ferrari, his 8-bedroom house, or even his 6 distinctions that he obtained in matric. Goods, of course, laughs at Everyman's request. He cannot go with him on this pilgrimage to the end. Goods then says something that has stuck with me since, and bear with me, it is in medieval English. Thou shouldest fare much the worse for me, for because on me thou didst set thy mind, thy reckoning I have made blotted and blind, that thine account thou cannot make truly, and that hast thou for the love of me. Goods here admits to being the main reason every man might struggle to explain his life to God, why every man might not be able to live an eternal life. That got me thinking about what I would say now as I account for my time here in high school in front of all of you, or even later when I have to account for my life. What would I say? What will everyone I met during my time here say about me? What is the legacy I leave? To me, the play of Every Man is a cautionary tale. All he had before having to go on the last journey of his life was his material wealth, which for me might translate to my academic record. I wanted to be able to say by the end of my time in school that I did something more than study and obtain good marks. I wanted to be able to say that I made some sort of impact, some difference, that at least one person will remember me for my smile or my frown and not my marks. That, Eunice, is my message to you this morning. Marks are good and well, but getting 99% for Afrikaans is not what you're going to tell your grandkids about. Seize your time here. Grab the bull of school by the horns. Be someone who, if they should have to account for their time in school or even their life, can do so easily and proudly, knowing that they lived a life of good deeds, kindness, and wisdom. Even though one has to go on your pilgrimage to God alone, living a life worthy of that pilgrimage is not a solitary pursuit. I would like to thank, first and foremost, my parents for dealing with me during exam stress, for driving me around every day, for feeding me, for supporting me no matter what I do, for teaching me to stand up for what I believe in, to be uncompromising, and to block out all the noise. My achievement, my values, and my life are yours more than they are mine. Secondly, I need to thank my teachers. Mrs. Botma, Mr. Kriel, Dr. Neil van Niekerk in his absence, Mrs. Visser, Mr. Aubrew, Mrs. Dalport, Mrs. Melanie Adams in her absence, Mrs. Kutsia, Mrs. Grammaticos, and Frau Sanet Kruivenstein for fueling my love for languages and the arts, for answering my incessant and sometimes unnecessarily complex questions, and for inspiring me to follow my heart to the humanities. To my maths and science teachers, specifically Mr. Roland Skoombi in his absence, Ms. Minor and Ms. Rautenbach and Mrs. Stein, thanks for not kicking me out of your classes when it was obvious that your subjects were to me the equivalent of listening to cricket on the radio. Thanks also to all the staff that impacted me outside the classroom. I can't name everyone, but shout out to Mr. Teblanche, Mrs. Spoelstra, and Mrs. Myra Wienand for making me laugh and having good chats about everything from flowers to communist shoes. Special thanks, of course, goes to the Unisi Vetek and Thomas Choir for being my second home. Mrs. Visser, Mrs. Fourie, and Mrs. Galdenhuis, thank you for teaching me things no classroom will ever be able to. There are no words to describe the love I will always have for the space you create. Choir of 2026 and beyond, I expect great things from you, and trust, I'll find you if you don't deliver. Farewell, Unisi. May the roads ride up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm on your face and the rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of her hand. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. Congratulations to the ladies who have been up for their board medals. I am now going to ask Mrs. Jackie Bortma to take over for the last 7 board medalists.
I heard you. Another 7. Thanks, girls. And I know I'd like you, when you leave this hall, to have decided which message delivered by these young ladies sitting behind me actually meant the most to you. You have to take something with you when you leave the hall this morning. I would like to read the achievements of Fatima Hussein, who achieved 7 distinctions. And in her absence, I think it's really important that we celebrate her achievements. Her average was 87%, with distinctions in English home language, 87%, Afrikaans, 89%, mathematics, 83%, computer applications technology, 91%, and life sciences, I beg your pardon, computer applications technology, 86%, life sciences, 91%, and physical sciences, 84%. Fatima achieved an additional distinction in life orientation, and she'll be studying medicine at the University of the Free State this year. Let's give her a round of applause in her absence. Amira Kassim is our next recipient. Amira, you're welcome to make your way to the podium. Amira achieved an average of 87.43%, with distinctions in English, 84%, Afrikaans, 92%, mathematics, 83%, computer applications technology, 90%, life sciences, 92%, and physical sciences, 80%. Amira also achieved a 7th distinction in life orientation, and she will be studying medicine at the University of the Free State. Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for being here for us today. 5 years ago, I sat in a classroom on the top floor with a mask on my face, watching my first ever board medal assembly through a projector because of COVID. I remember feeling very inspired. And thinking, wow, what exactly is a board medal? And how do I get one? So throughout high school, I told myself, just try. And I must say, after Maths Paper 1, I never thought I would be standing here today. I definitely could not have done it without the help of my teachers who believed in all of us and put in so much time and effort into our success during evening classes, extra classes, and the longest of school days. I would also like to thank my friends who unwillingly listened to my stupid questions minutes before every single exam. And most importantly, my parents and my grandparents for believing in me most and for standing by my side even though I am the number one cause of their stress. I love you. Thank you. I have been in UNISI for 14 years. Sometimes it felt like a never-ending 14-hour flight. The first few hours were very enjoyable and exciting as I looked at the journey ahead. Later on during the flight, however, came the turbulence, the lack of sleep, some discomfort, and maybe fear. When the plane goes up and down and right and left, you may wonder, does this pilot even know what he is doing? But eventually, the plane will land and the tough times will pass. But do not forget to make memories that will last a lifetime. To the class of 2026, as your flight together will soon land, enjoy every moment with each other and do your best. Do not compare yourself to others and give it your all. Personally, I did not expect to see the number 92 next to the word Afrikaans. So believe me, anything is possible if you give it your all. To the girls in green, if you have zoned out at any time during this speech, just remember these two things. Make progress and improve yourself. Do not try to prove yourself to anyone. And trust the pilot. Have faith in him. Keep your faith strong, because he definitely knows what he is doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Amira. Our next recipient of a board medal is Carlene Nolta, who achieved an average of 89.86%, with distinctions in English, 87%, Afrikaans, 98%, Mathematics, 83%, Consumer Studies, 95%, Life Sciences, 94%, Physical Sciences, 81%. Carlene also achieved an additional distinction in life orientation, and she'll be studying medicine at the University of the Free State. We look forward to hearing your speech, Carlene.
Good morning, esteemed guests, Mrs. Botma, and of course the ladies in green. Mrs. Serfontein, Mrs. Grammaticos, and Mrs. van der Merwe, I tried my utmost best with this speech, I promise. I want to share a quote that my matric mentor and I put on my poster in grade 8. Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts. Matrics, I know your feet hurt and you are full of anticipation of this year, but let me tell you, it gets tough. Remember to trust yourself and have courage to continue despite the hardships. To all the matrics of 2026, good luck and make so many memories. Thank you, Linka, for being such a joy in my matric year. I remember my first day in grade 8. I was a little young girl and high school seemed like a mountain. My mom dropped me off and I was very confused as to where to go, but she had already left. I also unfortunately fell, and I mean fell, right outside there in front of Mrs. Middle's classroom. Of course, it had to be in front of the extremely intimidating matrics. But also, I had the courage to get back up again. So grade 8, if you fall, it is the courage to get back up that counts. I also, unfortunately, had my over-the-top heavy bag fall on my head and got stuck in my hair, creating the largest bubble known to mankind. I also barely had skin on my palms left. But Mr. van Rensburg helped me up, and I was off to my first natural sciences lesson with Mrs. Reitenbach. On that note, I want to say a special thank you to my wonderful teachers for their contribution to my success. I must say a special thank you to my consumer studies teacher, Ms. Janse van Rensburg. Dankie juffrou vir juffrou se geduld met my miljoene vrae, ontelbare woorde advies en aanmoediging. Ek gaan ons studiesessies baie mis en stuur asseblief swentjies vir Mila. Dankie juffrou Stein vir al ons geselsies by die boeremark en natuurlik al die ekstra moeite wat jy vir ingesit het om wiskunde lekker te maak. Dan dankie aan my familie. Dankie mamma dat mamma saam met my Kevin Math op 2 times speed gekyk het. Al weet mamma nie eintlik wat hy gesê nie. En dankie pappa vir al die koffies wat pappa aangedra het in die laat nagtelike ure. En kyk voor jy duik. Dankie oom Alex dat ek by oom se huis kon studeer het. Ek sal nooit genoeg dankie daarvoor kan sê nie. Oom se passie vir lewenswetenskappe het in my oorgespoel. 'n Groot dankie aan my liefste Jomery en Jumery dat julle hierdie jaar onvergeetlik gemaak het. Dankie Skirmy vir ons koffiedates en motivering en dankie Pookie vir ons impromptu cocktails na 'n moeilike vraestel. And a big thank you to our Heavenly Father for giving me the strength, energy and support system to achieve my biggest dreams. It is such a privilege to end my high school career feeling so fulfilled. To conclude, like Cinderella said, have courage and be kind. Thank you.
Our next recipient I'd like to call to the front is Ashley de Bruin. Ashley achieved an average of 91.14% with distinctions in English, 93%, Afrikaans, 93%, mathematics, 80%, accounting, 95%, life sciences, 95%, and physical sciences, 86%. Ashley also achieved an additional distinction in life orientation, and she'll be studying BSc Human Life Sciences with Psychology at Stellenbosch University.
Firstly, I would just like to say that in my 5 years at UNICE, I somehow missed every single board medal assembly. So I didn't really know what to expect or how big of a deal it was. Good morning to Mrs. Botman and staff, my fellow board medalists, parents, special guests, and UNICE learners. Standing here today, I'm incredibly honored and grateful. While this board medal recognizes academic achievement, it also represents a journey shaped by perseverance, support, and the people who stood by me every step of the way. I would like to base my speech on a phrase that has guided me through my high school years. Carpe diem, seize the day. These words were my mom's life motto. She believed deeply, She believed deeply in making the most of every opportunity. Sorry. I thought I'd cried it all out in their speeches. She believed deeply in making the most of every opportunity and never taking time for granted. When she passed away while I was in grade 9, those words took on a whole new meaning for me. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Losing her taught me that life can change in an instant, but it also taught me the value of choosing to show up every single day, even on the hard ones. Carpe diem became more than a saying. It became a mindset. It reminded me that each day was an opportunity to try again, and to keep moving forward. High school is not without its challenges. There were moments of pressure, self-doubt, exhaustion, and many tears, especially after math paper 1. But I learned that success is not about never struggling. It's about choosing, I just switched it off, sorry. It's about choosing effort, courage, and consistency despite the struggle. That journey would not have been possible without the incredible people who supported me. To my parents, thank you for your constant love, your belief in me, and for giving me all the opportunities that made this journey possible.
Your support means everything to me. I would also like to specifically thank my dad for being my biggest motivation throughout high school. We made a bet at the beginning of high school that for every 90 I achieved, I would get 100 rand, but for every below 85, he would take 50 of it away. So that bag was my biggest motivation. To my best friends, who aren't here, but Julie, Amy, and Caitlin, thank you for all the laughter, the memories, and for always cheering me on. You made the toughest days lighter and the best days unforgettable. To my boyfriend, AJ, thank you for being my Thank you for being my emotional anchor, my much-needed distraction, and for picking me up when I needed it most. I would like to thank Mrs. Jacobs and the hostel staff for creating a true home away from home for me. To my hostel sisters, thank you for getting me through everything and for creating some of the highlights of high school with me. It really would not have been the same without hostel. Hostel shaped me in ways that I will always, always be grateful for. To every teacher that has taught me throughout my school career, and especially my matric teachers, thank you for your dedication and your commitment to our success. I would like to thank Mrs. Gospodinova for her patience and her endless energy in the classroom. Mrs. Grammaticos, thank you for the extra effort you put into English, your unwavering encouragement, and for creating some of the most special memories and events of our matric year. Mrs. De Abreu, thank you for your tips and tricks, because without them, this SOTI may not have received a distinction for Afrikaans. Mrs. Spoelstra, thank you for your passion and for your kindness. Mrs. Etzbeth, thank you for ensuring that we always understood the work and for all your very entertaining ways of helping us remember it. Sorry, I'm on the wrong side here. Ms. Rotenbach, thank you for your honesty and for seeing us as people and not just as students. And thank you for answering my many, many, many questions, even when I was irritating you and setting the record for number of questions asked per minute. And lastly, Mrs. Vessels, thank you for letting me distract you for entire periods, because those in which we got to know you were always our favorite. And thank you for encouraging us to, in your words, say I do to accounting. To all the learners sitting here today, carpe diem, seize the day. Because none of us know how much time we are given, but we do get to choose what to do with it. So have as much fun as you can, because high school is short and life is not so serious. And to end off, because I may never get another opportunity, and I would like to carpe diem, I'm going to end with a quote by Kanye West. Everybody wants to know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
Our next recipient that I'd like to call to the front is Cheryl Lima Perez, who achieved an average of 92.43%, with distinctions in English, 96%. Afrikaans, let me just put on my glasses. Thank you, 93%. Mathematics, 85%. Accounting, 97%. Life Sciences, 95%, and Physical Sciences, 85%. Cheryl also achieved an additional distinction in life orientation, and she'll be studying medicine at the University of the Free State this year. Thank you, Cheryl.
Good morning, Mrs. Botma, educators, esteemed guests, and ladies in green. It is an absolute honor to be addressing you today. Ladies, I recall sitting where you are now sitting, crying and laughing at all the speeches delivered at the various board medal assemblies that I was privileged enough to attend. I particularly remember the 2023 board medal assembly. This is because one of the recipients had a lengthy and foreign name like mine, And, as silly as that sounds, that became my motivation to one day, too, become a board medalist. It often only takes seeing one person, like you, to realize that you too can do it. In order to understand why this was the case, I see it fit to acknowledge the past as it plays a vital role in shaping one. As you can probably gather from my name, I am not South African. I am actually Cuban and came to South Africa at the age of 9. Back then, I did not know a single word in English. I actually had to make use of my tablet as a translator. While the other learners were learning about the importance of not placing a candle near a curtain in life skills, I was using I was learning the names of the colors and numbers using the Duolingo app. This proved to be significantly challenging at first, but like anything in life, it improved as time went on. At my previous school, I was able to grow, partially in height, but mostly in values like discipline and hard work. I was able to flourish, I was able to flourish until my progress became stagnant, and I decided to make one of the best decisions in my life, coming to Unisi High School. Unisi has quite literally been a life school for me. The first lesson that she ever taught me was that one should not see others as competition, but rather as a source for motivation. Like Romans 12, verse 6 states, each star shines differently in its own glory. Unisi taught me that one should not make oneself a victim of one's circumstances. I used to feel sorry for myself because I had Afrikaans as a third language, while others had it as a second or even home language. I soon realized that since Unisi was such a diverse school, that I was not the only person in that position. Instead of feeling sorry for myself, I saw it as an opportunity to learn a new language that would enable me to communicate with my older patients once I qualify as a medical doctor. Unisi taught me that leadership is not determined by popularity or even a badge. She also taught me how privileged we are to have teachers who are actually passionate about the subjects they teach and who are able to transmit that love onto the learners. Ladies, I can assure you that your teachers go above and beyond to ensure that you have enough resources to study from. You will cry, not due to the lack of notes and resources, but rather due to the abundance thereof and the limited time to go through them all. To the class of 2026, my wish for you is that you enjoy this year, even the stress. Like paraphrasing Mrs. Gospodinova's famous quotes, remember to work hard to ensure that your future self thanks you for it. I hope that you make prayer and your relationship with the Lord a priority, and that you get to enjoy all the events without it raining. I would like to use this opportunity to thank my parents and my family. Mama y papá. Muchas gracias por todos los sacrificios que han hecho por mí para asegurarme de que yo tenga esa posición hoy. Los amo mucho. A la familia, gracias por todo su apoyo incondicional y por todo su amor. Los amo. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you, Unisi. Thank you.
The next recipient, I'm going to give you a minute to settle down. Thank you. The next recipient who accomplished 7 distinctions with an average of 93% is Inge van Staden. Inge, for English, Inga achieved 93%, Afrikaans 96%, mathematics 85%, accounting 97%, life sciences 94%, and physical sciences 88%. Inga also achieved an additional distinction in life orientation, and she will be studying medicine at the University of the Free State. Before I hand over to Inga, I'd like to make mention of another achievement which happened during the December holiday. So during the course of Inga's matric year, she was selected for the South African laser run team, and she participated in the modern pentathlon world championships at the end of last year in laser run, and she was awarded an individual bronze medal. Well done, Inga.
Good morning, Mrs. Botma, our educators, parents, honored guests, and ladies in green. It is a true honor to stand here today. Being recognized at this assembly represents far more than academic results. It reflects years of growth, discipline, resilience, and the many people who quietly shaped this journey alongside me. When I paused to reflect on my high school journey, one truth became abundantly clear. Excellence is rarely built in moments of comfort or applause, but in quiet perseverance. A quote by Novak Djokovic, a world-renowned tennis champion, captures this perfectly. You have to work hard in the dark to shine in the light. The dark looked like long exam weeks, moments of doubt, and the challenge of writing what will probably live on in matric memory as the November maths paper on the Friday. Only to return focus for the next one on Monday. It looked like injuries as an athlete, forcing me to start again and to rebuild my strength. Through all of this, I learned that resilience is built through the simple decision to continue. Yet, despite the pressure and the long days, my high school journey was not defined by stress alone. One of the most meaningful aspects of my time at Tunisi was the environment itself and our grade within it. We arrived as individuals, but somewhere along the way, classmates became friends, and friends became sisters. There was laughter woven into learning, and a sense of connection that made every day easier. Even in demanding subjects, there was room for lightness, like the encouraging life sciences memes and puns shared by Mrs. Etzebeth. And then there was our matric dance, a night where we danced until we genuinely could not feel our feet anymore. It was within this environment that my motivation took shape. I was motivated by our educators who believed in us consistently, and of course, Mrs. Free's good luck messages before every single exam since grade 8 became something we quietly relied on. I was also motivated by my parents, whose support never wavered, and I was motivated by myself, by the quiet standard of always striving to be better than I was yesterday, so that I can one day look back with gratitude and pride. Most importantly, my faith grounded me throughout this journey, and I am deeply grateful for the strength that Jesus Christ has given me in moments when I felt deeply overwhelmed. There was one verse I always returned to, namely, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Because of what this journey taught me, there are a few thoughts I would love to pass on. To our grade 8s and 9s, allow yourself time to explore and to grow. You are not meant to have everything figured out yet. To our grade 10s and 11s, some days will feel heavier than others, and that is okay. These are the years where resilience is built quietly. And to our grade 12s, the year is short, it passes quickly, and it demands presence. Time management will be one of your closest allies. Preparing early allows space, not only for focus, but for balance too. Because school is not only about academics. Sport, culture, friendships, and time spent doing what you love often provide the strength and perspective you don't realize you need until you need it most. And through every stage of this journey, one truth remained constant. I never walked it alone. To my educators, thank you for your dedication, patience, and belief. You reminded me to give my best and to stay committed, and each of you played a vital role in helping me achieve 7 distinctions and a dream average. To the support staff, especially Ms. Horn, thank you for caring about our well-being and for being a steady source of support throughout my journey. To my parents, Mom and Dad, thank you for being there in every sense of the word. Mom, thank you for the homemade smoothies brought to my room during exam seasons. A smoothie a day can truly keep the brain fog away. You always made sure I could keep going. Dad, thank you for the evenings I escaped my room just to sit with you and explain maths and physics. You always listened patiently, even when you insisted you would fail those subjects today. To my wider family, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins, thank you for your encouragement. And finally, to my 2 dogs, Zeus and Luna, thank you for reminding me that actions speak louder than words. Your wagging tails at the front door, as you waited patiently for me after school, grounded me more than you know. I am deeply grateful for what Tunisia has given me, not only academically, but in character, discipline, and perspective. What I have learned here extends far beyond the classroom, and it is something I will carry with me long after today. Thank you.
Our final board medal recipient, who is also our Dux Scholar for 2025 with 8 distinctions, is Joan Marie Fourie. Joan Marie, as you see, has achieved an average of 93.38% in the matric final examination. And she achieved distinctions in the following subjects: English, 96%, Afrikaans, 98%, Mathematics, 86%, Accounting, 96%, German, 92%, Life Sciences, 96%, and Physical Sciences, 87%. Joan Marie will be studying medicine at the University of the Free State this year.
Good morning to Mrs. Botma, staff, parents, esteemed guests, my fellow board medalists, and of course, to the beautiful ladies in green. Thank you. Thank you. Today marks the true end of the matric class of 2025's scholastic story here at UNISI. A story punctuated by numerous plot twists and character changes, but always told with UNISI's feminine style and elegance. We started here as anxious, shy grade 8s in the midst of a global pandemic, navigating our way around social distancing, symptom screening every morning, and those terrible face masks. Along the way, we've survived countless exams, evening classes, weekend camps, and even Mr. Skumbi's brief appearance as a nun. As a community, we've grown closer and now share in that special camaraderie UNISI is known for. We have come to learn some beautiful as well as some painful lessons, not only in the classroom, on the sports fields, or on stage, but also in life. One such lesson that stands out to me is that, as Forrest Gump might say, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Sometimes you might pick a nutty hazelnut praline, a metaphor for the crazier times in life. It is important to truly embrace these opportunities for unapologetic joy and spontaneity, be it dress-up days at school or parties with your friends. There's so much whimsy in this world, you just have to choose to see it. You only get one life. Seize it with both hands and always do your absolute best. And some days, you might have the misfortune of getting orange creams. These are the mistakes in life. They are inevitable and sometimes a bit unpleasant, but the important thing is that you learn to not be afraid of making them. If you never dare to try in fear of failing or making a mistake, you'll also never experience the full extent of what life's box of confectionaries has to offer. You can never truly lose. You either win or you learn. Other days, one might happen to receive a minty-scented treat, something to refresh your perspective on life. Gratitude is one of the most important attributes of a well-rounded individual, in that it allows one to realize how blessed and truly privileged one already is, even while in pursuit of your goals. It is essential to find your why and to know where your strength comes from. Sometimes you're lucky enough to acquire a deliciously sweet and soft fudgy confection, symbolic of the people in one's life that allow you to become your favorite self. I would like to take a moment to thank my people, those who have allowed me, or those who have made it possible for me to stand here today. Thank you to every educator that has ever welcomed me into their classroom, to every friend that has been a shoulder to cry on, and to my family that has always had the world's patience with me. Thank you to everyone that has ever offered me a smile, a kind gesture, or a word of encouragement. I leave the school now with many fond memories, smile lines, and a full heart because of you. In any good box of South African chocolates, there will also be those really tough toffees, always last to get picked. These can be quite a gamble, but if you can survive one of these without losing a tooth, you know you can handle anything. Sometimes you will have to chew through a lack of motivation, bad habits, or negative self-talk, but with discipline and resilience, you can achieve anything you set your mind to. You are often your own biggest obstacle. Remember, Winket kies 'n Winket. She conquers who conquers herself. Life really is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, and everyone's box is different. So make the most of yours. Ladies, the highs will feel exhilarating, and the lows will feel heavy. But in each you will find a beauty that the other cannot offer. As per Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1, for everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. Eunice, I thank you for 14 breathtaking years. There really is no other school so dear. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan Marie. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in applauding Joan Marie and all our board medalists today. I think it's an amazing achievement.
Well done, girl.
If you'd allow me some time just to quickly make a few acknowledgements. We would like to extend our gratitude to Mr. Houston De Veer, Mrs. Kafilwe Makoto, and Mr. John Leakis from Standard Bank for your ongoing financial support and also for the special gifts that our recipients received today. We really do appreciate our partnership with you. Then I'd also like to thank Mrs. Marlene Etzebeth, I'm not quite sure, right there at the back, for organizing this outstanding event. It's not an easy task, and we appreciate that. And also to Mrs. Anke Janse van Rensburg. I'm not sure where she is at the moment, but she has arranged the tea. And then also, I would like to thank all our guests today, all our members of the school community who are here to support the school and your loved ones. So thank you to all our guests for coming today. Is this on? Can you hear me there at the back? There you go. Now I'm really loud. I would like to call on Mrs. Safi Taropoulos to make a special acknowledgement.
Good morning, everyone. I hope that you are all inspired. I certainly am. What a wonderful day it is today. I hope you can hear with this vibration going on. Yes, it's a special day today. Not only are we celebrating our wonderful board recipients, but I also have a very special announcement. The Department of Education has officially appointed our new headmistress for Eunice High School, Miss Jackie Botma.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Safitairopoulos, for the announcement and for the support from everyone. Ladies, you stuck with me? Let's continue doing what we're doing. Let's continue excelling. And you do your very best and be you, and we will continue growing from year to changing year. One last question from me. Is Eunice, how do you feel? We feel good. Thank you, girls.
That was beautiful. Thank you, ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, I am now going to invite Joan Marie Fourie to join Mrs. Botma in ringing the bell 3 times to mark the official end of the 2025 academic year in honor of all our board medalists this year. Thank you. Please stand for the school song. Thank you. You may be seated. Before we dismiss, I just want to extend an invitation to all of our guests and board medalists to meet in the staff room for the tea after we have dismissed. And then I'm going to ask the UNICE ladies and the teachers if you can remain seated so that our special guests and board medalists can make their way to the staff room.